let's talk about who says a lot and some dope verses. My favorite in radio, Colin Cowherd. This is my dog. I love him in terms of his radio presence. He says that ESPN came after him, talking about a reunion, right? So it's been 8 years since he left the Four Letters, and now he's at Fox Sports 1. He's the radio host of The Herd. We know that. But he was talking and reminiscing about his old days over there at ESPN. So remember how it ended? I forgot this. It ended like in 2015. And it was kind of unceremonious in the sense of he made those controversial comments about the Dominican Republic baseball players. And then kind of just went away. Like, it's weird. A lot of guys just dip. Like Shannon, he's going to just leave at the NBA Finals, knowing internally what they've talked about in terms of his departure. It sounds like it's going to be a little more subdued. I left. They were like, you going to come back and then let everybody wish you well? And I was like, nah, I'm gone. I guess it's the athlete in Shannon and I guess it's the baller in Colin Cowherd. Just like, all right, that's how y'all want to do it? Cool. So, you know, Colin was talking about that, and he said, look, 10 years is a lot to do on the ESPN treadmill, the car wash. For y'all who don't know what the car wash is, if you've noticed, basically everybody at ESPN is on a show primarily, but on all the shows in terms of their opportunities, right? It's called the car wash. So when you get there, you may be on First Take, even Stephen A, your First Take, but then I need you on Inside the NBA. Hey, you busy? Can you go on Sports Center? Hey, you busy? This just in, like, etc. Right? They make them go through all that stuff. It's called the car wash. So he says he enjoyed it. I hopefully don't have any enemies there. I really enjoyed it. They circled back a few years later and came after me and said, I really appreciate it, but I'm part of a new family. Remember, he went to FS1, him along with Skip Bayless, and got paid, got power, got platform, got freedom and latitude. Enough freedom where Colin Cowherd started the Volume years later. You know what the Volume is? That's a podcast network. Not just a podcast network, but a direct competitor to where he works in Fox's audio. So Fox Audio, Club Shay Shay was a part of that, right? Nick, what's wrong with Nick, right? Skip Bayless show, all that. Colin's like, all right, y'all got y'all's, let me start mine. And you notice he's not on theirs because he's a competitor and still got the Herd and still work at FS1. Give him them James Worthy big claps for that, boy. He pulled a good one, right? So he says he really appreciates it, but I'm part of a new family. But it wasn't for any other reason than my wife and I, we wanted new adventures, and new adventures he got. So now you see him over here. He's still talking about it. He says, look, he notices, like everybody, that ESPN radio is not, let's just say, in their heyday, right? They're not in their prime right now. Remember, it was Mike and Mike? And then you had Colin. Shoot, you was over there. Who else they had over there that was just tilting? Couple others, but those were the two big boys. Like, golly, what else can you do? And now, I'm going to give y'all some scoop. The Keyshawn, Jay, and Max show, people are saying, nah. We already heard the reports about Max Kellerman and This Just In potentially being gone because of Pat McAfee. But even in the radio, keeping to this story, that show may be gone. If you want to know the details of that, Keyshawn's under contract, so it's not about Keyshawn necessarily. Max, if they're flirting with the McAfee time lineup, what's going to happen to him on radio? Do you just keep him around just for radio? At that number, obviously that's going to be a negotiation. That's going to be a haircut. And then Jay Will's contract is up. Y'all now start reading it, right? It's not that hard to put together if you know the pieces. So Cowherd did not say that ESPN attempts to do a little more hand-holding of their employees, but he did kind of leave that open. And I think the assumption was made because at Fox, you do have more freedom than ESPN. Maybe it's because it's a smaller operation, but even in a small operation, people can be more hands-on. But trust me, being there, Colin has the latitude and the freedom he desires, and frankly, that he's earned being Colin Cowherd. The dude literally comes in there, prepares with the squad. He says they're very low maintenance. They have their breakfast. They do the show. 2 minutes after the show, peace. Peace. I'm out of here. I don't need y'all to hold my hands. I don't need y'all to post-production meetings and all that. I'm a pro. I got this thing on autopilot. So it's good to see that he's in the right place, and respect to him for what he has going in multiple lanes. And he also gave a salute to ESPN, especially for them doubling down on opinions and giving Pat McAfee his dough. 5 years, 85 as reported. So seems like he's in a happy place. He's not tripping on going back to ESPN like we see some guys going. Even though they got the cost cuts, they still are investing in their future. What do you guys think about this story? Think Colin should ever flirt with going back to ESPN, or you love him where he is, or neither? You're like, damn it, I'm just tired of all this stuff. Enough is enough. Do you guys even listen to radio anymore? Or is it all just podcasts? Is it all just YouTube?